Hello and welcome to the Cafe Cast. We're the second group getting to, no pun intended, the second group, but yeah, covering the two premiere episodes while the group hosted by LooneyTurtle was covering a flurry of emotions. And yeah, we're a bit late to the party here, but we're still going to be the better cast because it's Guys Night. Oh yeah, it's Guys Night. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Are you implying that Looney's not a guy?
Well, he had
no.
so.
Moonshine.
I see.
That was not the first conclusion I expected you to draw from that, but
Anyway.
Oh no, I'm just drinking some moonshine, so I'm feeling happy.
That's not Guys Night, that's Southern Night. Keep it straight.
Wait, where am I?
You're right now talking blasé over in the Cafe Cast.
Oh, okay. I thought I was somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so these people who don't know who they are or where they are, why don't we let them introduce themselves to you? First up, you know who was in the last one.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for an amazing show that I will bring to you now for the second time airing for Cafe Cast? It's the one, the only, energetic, and passionate Unova!
Fifth best gen.
Woo! You know what I'm talking, brother.
What he said. Past analysis?
Yo, I'm not as enthusiastic as that guy, but I'm still alive and I'm still here, I think. I'm going to be a little bit negative towards the first episode, fair warning. I am past analysis. That is what people know me for. Negativity. Yeah, yay.
And thus the axe will be raised.
Aren't you just psyched already? Alright.
I am totally psyched right now. Loving it.
And Valis.
Live from Coachella, it's Valis. Woo! What's going on, guys?
I'm doing alright.
Seriously, Gorillas is here. I don't know how, but it's amazing.
Winston, what are you doing here? Get back to the Overwatch squad.
Are you trying to steal Unova's script?
No, seriously, Gorillas are here at Coachella. It's amazing.
Coachella.
And I'm here talking about My Little Pony. Ain't that life for you? Okay, but I better set these guys loose on the episode before they go totally insane, so... Alright, first come, first serve. Who wants a piece of it?
Let's do Unova first.
All right, and then...
Let's start with the first second. How about that?
Okay, so to begin with the positive thoughts about this episode, okay, this episode honestly felt like it was very much needed after the finale in the sense of like, well, how should I put it? Starlight Glimmer basically saved Equestria from the impending doom of Chrysalis. And also reformatted basically nearly an entire species to being good-hearted. So yeah, that's going to be like, do you need lessons anymore, Starlight? Because you basically was like very dominant in your independent streak with like a bunch of friends and new people that you never really got to talk to, like Discord and such. I mean, Dorax, you only managed to like see him only because of the fact that you were with Twilight during like the Times Era changeling. Trixie, on the other hand, she's literally your only new friend that you've made recently. And Discord, we literally have no relation to him. So what could possibly go wrong in that finale? Nothing. That's it. Not just kidding. There was only a few thefts wrong with the finale, but in here, in the premiere, it basically felt like, for the positives, we could definitely see that one clear point, since the title is Celestial Advice, is Princess Celestia is up front and center and showing us that she's a lot similar to Twilight than we give her credit for, and that the illusion we had about her essentially being like, all knowing about like schemes and plans to like make sure that Equestria is safe. She's basically as much of a fuck up as everyone else.
Yeah.
Episode 11, Abridged.
The illusion we had that this show was being written by different writers.
Yep.
You think? So, bruh, really? You thought that she would know everything? Really, bruh?
And I mean, then again, she was depicted in the earlier seasons under Foss's writing style as sort of like a somewhat of a deity that's living among mortals. But then again, we've been moving away from that sort of writing style with like the newer writers. And while it can definitely raise an eyebrow for certain longtime fans, I'm perfectly fine with it. As long as they showcase more Celestia, like in this sort of facet, sort of like how they do in the comics featuring her, like say the Friends Forever issue with her and Spike. If we get more of that in the actual show, I'm Gucci about it. I'm very much. What?
You read that one?
I did. I loved it to bits.
Yes.
Okay, but going on to other points, Twilight's fantasies, which Celestia said there is no wrong way to fantasize, and that line will forever be cemented in everyone.
Oh, why'd you let the internet go run wild with that? No.
Well, it was already running wild, but now they're going to be like, oh, if you're going to criticize about my headcanon universe, well, let me just tell you, it's my fantasy. And there's no wrong way to fantasize. It's going to be such a cock-blocking comment.
Not sure I like where this is going now.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry, but it's just...
Okay. Actually, for Jake, how it passed. Your thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
On the first episode?
Mm-hmm.
The first.
Are you guys ready?
Heck, why don't we just go around 2 times then? The first episode first.
Yeah.
Very knives.
Okay, well, before the negatives come out, I think I best start with the good, because after I'm done talking about the negative, I'm going to not want to talk about this episode.
So the good, it's in color.
The positives, I don't know if I agree with a lot of what Unova said right there, but one big positive would be that the structure was actually pretty good. I mean, so far, just as a general thing I'm noticing, Season 7 is off to a good start in terms of structure. They don't really seem to have that much issues, which is surprising in a good way. I'm glad that the structures seem more, they seem more well put together. They seem like there's actually a semblance of a thought there. Not that much so for Season 6, but, that was Season 6. So, good things. Now let's get into the one giant bad thing. It lies and lies and lies and lies and lies. Oh, Starlight is ready to graduate. It really gave off the impression that she learned far more than 6 lessons. That she learned like 20.
I feel like it's just going off the hype of like that, like the season 6 finale. Oh, she probably learned so many friendship lessons that she's way beyond it now.
See, but I feel like the writers of the show shouldn't be. I mean, the season 6 finale itself lied. So what? Like, from what you're telling me, are you telling me that they got hyped up on their own lie and then lied even further?
No, more like it's. I really hate to use that word, but in the sense, but more like the thing is, the sense will always be true. Series will always be for little girls, and the thing is, it will always keep it simple. It ain't Kingdom Hearts, it ain't Blaze Blue, and so things will always be simple.
I don't see how
Glimmer. in sense, her reformation will keep Kemp somewhat simple.
This show has shown me from the earlier seasons that it can do a season that is very focused around one character. They did it with season 1, which was very Twilight focused. I mean, every single lesson, for crying out loud, had Twilight jump in there at some point to give what she learned from it. Even in season 2, they managed to do something pretty new in that they, shifted to all of the main 6 learning lessons. I don't think that learning lessons is necessarily complex. It's just it's following through on the promise that they made in the season 6 premiere, and they didn't. And now they're trying to hide it. It's like getting a D on a paper and acting like you got an A. No, DHX, you got an F. You got a D in that range. Don't act like you did 20-ish lessons. You didn't. In fact, you kind of wasted some of the opportunities, majorly wasted some of the opportunities that you had for developing Starlight, for giving her lessons. That's not simple. That's not like the show can't make a character lessons. That's not simplicity. That's just, I don't even know if I'd say that's not even very complex. It's a children's cartoon, yeah, but I don't see why one character can't learn a lot throughout the season. I mean, is that necessary? Are those?
What's up?
Yeah.
I will say.
You can.
Okay. Well, the kids show simplicity. I mean, it's never been my favorite defense because, complex is not the same thing as carefully crafted. You look at the best of the Pixar movies. Their plot lines they build on themselves pretty well across the runtime, and that doesn't mean that they're not on some level simple, but they're also very well done, and I feel like there's such a thing as dropping the ball in how you tell a kid's story. Heck, when I was 5 years old, I at least knew that Disney was the real McCoy, and the Asylum, or whatever versions of the Asylum we had when I was in that age range, they were the Diet Disney. But that aside, though, I guess I'll hold off on my thoughts unless you weren't done with your turn past, until Valis is done.
No. I was just responding to that point. Someone else can go.
Well, that's you then, Valis.
Well, I guess the thing is that I'm never going to change your opinion, and I'm not going to. But the thing is that
I'm not Unova. I'm past.
Some reason.
I don't blame you. They sound pretty similar.
I never feel pissed off whenever I see that episode. Whenever I see that ending where Starlight goes, "I don't want to leave," I just laugh at it. Dude, I don't know why I do, but I think it's just more like I never see the episode as heavily as you do, is all.
Yeah,
you want to take, but next.
I don't have an issue with Starlight staying around. I have an issue mainly with what Twilight is doing throughout this episode. I think that Twilight is the one that really grinds my gears in this episode. Starlight, she doesn't really particularly annoy me.
And I honestly think, past the way you view this episode like that big flaw, that is completely valid. Honestly, a lot of us were very disappointed about season 6. Not just you, man.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Seriously, it is true that it's basically like a bold-faced lie that they're just trying to skirty about. But if they're gonna make better promises from here on and not try to make any sort of implications for like stuff like that again.
Believe me, if they start making a lot of episodes that are Starlight episodes, like the next episode we'll talk about this evening, I'll be happy. I'll be very happy.
yeah.
Help me.
But I honestly feel like I didn't really get to finish. But what I was trying to say is that this episode, for what we see both positively and negatively, like I would also consider Discord to be a negative for this episode.
Oh.
Like it's like one viewing I could see him okay. On another viewing in a different perspective, I see him as, oh my god. This is the reason why I hate Three's a Crowd. You hear me?
Ooh, lovely point of view. I compliment your taste.
I mean, they never quite found the perfect angle with that whole Discord annoys Twilight, or Discord find its ways to get under Twilight's skin and mess with her.
See,
it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, for my opinion, because I don't know. Like, I mean, I know Twilight was the leader when she basically stoned Discord the first time, but really, it's like, I mean, aside from like the theories about, oh, Discord's interacting with her because she has the most magic potential out of all the ponies around him, and basically,
strange.
Oh, sorry.
All I was going to say is that, strangely enough, I kind of agree with you on Discord with this episode.
Oh!
I mean, I don't like Three's a Crowd, but I don't dislike Three's a Crowd because of Discord's behavior to Twilight necessarily. I think that him being this sort of, maybe pranker, messes with Twilight a lot, I think it fits. The only thing about Discord this episode that I find concerning is that what he's saying could be an indication of how DHX thinks. And that's the only area, that whole bit where he's like, oh, well, come on, Twilight. I mean, she had the whole thing with the changelings. Obviously, she's ready to move on. My only concern is, please tell me that's not how DHX really feels on the issue. And considering how this episode went, it looks more like they agree with Discord on that point.
Well, I don't want to make some confusion about my doubts about the Crowd about Discord's attitude. It just felt like very off kilter, and then like the way that like Discord was interacting, I don't like the idea of like Discord and Twilight episodes like that, because they never phase out at all for me. Like Three's a Crowd. Let's see, season 5. That one episode in which they talk about something that they apparently did with Discord, the other main
Oh, yeah, that was an awful episode. I'm never going to defend that thing. Ugh.
But I just feel like it's somewhat like one perspective of me feels like that's that same Discord coming back and not really contributing much of anything, even though he's supposed to be somewhat of a dick. I'm just half and half on Discord here, and that's why it just feels like so middling. But like every other character, let's see. Trixie, she was all right. Dorax, he was great. He was okay. He's not great, but he's okay for like what position he was thrust into. Let's see. I guess Spike was very much in top form, essentially, during all the fantasies, like even criticizing about, wow, do you really think of Amber that way, Twilight? You were just there with me last season. Like, I just felt so awkward about that moment, because, like, you think Starlight would act like that? You think Amber would act like that? She's Tsundere. She's not Dude Bro.
Spike was a bit of a nice bit of poking fun at Twilight. It didn't.
Yeah.
You think?
And then again, people could say like, "Oh, this episode has some flaws because of like, well, the way that it was advertised. Like, it showed the ending of the episode for advertising, or it showed like, oh, we're gonna have some Full Metal Alchemist stuff with Sunburst. Nope, it was all just a
Lies.
Lies. Yeah, just like even the conflict felt a bit awkward because like this was before even talking with Starlight, and the fact that she doesn't even want to leave because one, free room and board, you can never want to leave that, and two, the fact that she actually feels that sort of way with like Twilight too, like actually just wants to stay and not even want to like leave. That's a bit humbling and not nice of her, you know. At least gives a little bit of points to like the supposed Starlight and Twilight relationship of teacher and student that I never really got to see in season 6 because no second Francis happened and that just was just trash in that perspective.
Huh.
So
we'll continue. Yeah.
So yeah, that's really all my full thoughts about this episode. Like, I would rank it in my grading scale as a mid-tier episode. Like, it's the second worst premiere. Like, I still feel like the season 6 premiere is a bit worse because of the whole. How should I say? The A plot for that episode wasn't engaging in the slightest compared to like the earlier season. The earlier season premiere with the Crystal Empire with like Sombra. It just can't compare.
I mean, I never thought I'd say this, but ever, but yeah, the Crystalling was no Crystal Empire.
Oh! Jokes.
I mean, I never thought I'd say that involving the Crystal Empire, but no, it's true. But I mean, I guess my thing with this episode, it's my second least favorite premiere. I mean, I do think the Crystalling is still.
Wait, what about Valis? Did we went to Unova because we weren't.
He said. He talked. He didn't talk for long though. I mean, I'll leave that up to you.
Valis?
Do you have any other thoughts that you get to express? Are you still in the call?
Alice?
Maybe he AFK'd?
Oh. Maybe that's the reason why I got quiet.
Change your name and you're refusing to respond to the one I'm addressing you by?
That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay, we'll get back to Valis as soon as
he comes back, but
yeah.
For the time being, what do you think? Second.
Second least favorite premiere. The Crystalling was the less interesting of the two to me. Mainly because I do at least appreciate that this episode didn't try to, even if it didn't have that much more of an inspired idea as a way to start out. And I mean, granted, sometimes that is how some seasons of various shows work. Like, they need to lay down some groundwork before they can get anything interesting going. But yeah, this episode didn't try to shoehorn in a natural disaster plot that was not interesting in the slightest, that amounted to Luna and Celestia playing Cloud Galaga for a while. It didn't try to shoehorn in a hijinks subplot with a very shoehorned in baby character.
True, it did not. No.
So I mean, it just focused on the laying the groundwork plot. I did appreciate that. In like various ways, I do agree with most of the points everyone's making here. I guess I just did not have necessarily the same reaction to them. Like what they're trying to do with Starlight, I'm not like glowering at that. Like, you moron, you horribly corner-cutting writers thinking you can. I'm just kind of sitting there with the obligatory look on my face, kind of nodding. That, like, yeah, I mean, it's very obvious that they're trying to retcon some direction back into this. Like, it seems like they're trying to make it a parallel for when Twilight moved to Ponyville. That, see, Starlight has been working as an apprentice.
There's some things that happened in the past that I consider retconning to be a low move. Maybe my name as past analysis has something to do with it.
Fair enough. But I mean, yeah, here it's like, it's kind of clumsy how they try to tie that in. Like, okay, she's at the point where Twilight was at when she first started, according to this, but she's graduated. I'm like, okay, I don't think anybody considered Twilight moving to Ponyville a quote-unquote graduation, but,
Yeah.
okay, so that's it. That was kind of odd. Obviously, the lack of lessons building up to this point was kind of odd, but I mean, I don't really hold that against them as as like a cardinal sin to me. I see that as, okay, now that we have new story editors, basically like, now we're doing this our way. We're gonna get some direction in here, and I mean, it didn't entirely add up, but okay, I do at least like that they're, taking some initiative here to, like, laying groundwork for, at least so far as it comes across here, laying groundwork for some kind of direction that, okay, Starlight is capable of going out, taking her place in the world. She just needs to get to that point where she's ready to do so. Celestia, I do agree with you, Nova, that, yeah, she, is different than she was portrayed in the earlier seasons, and unlike some people, I'm not against the idea that she would be, very knowing, very, worldly, very even, above the perspective of everyone else after however long she's been alive, and I mean, I think that could be kind of interesting, like what it takes to connect with someone like that, what somebody's perspective, who's been in Celestia's position for so long, looks like, and I actually think the comic with Spike that you brought up did a much better job of, or well, it did a good job at all of addressing that. See, this episode kind of took it back in the direction of, no, okay, Celestia, no, she's just like you. See, she is so relatable because she is wacky. Because aren't you wacky too? But that said, it is kind of this season's right if it wants to do that with Celestia at this point, because I feel like the point to, move Celestia into the light a little bit more would probably have been more like seasons 3 or 4. Now she's just kind of been just there for a while. I mean, they've kind of tried to put Twilight in her role, leaving last season anyway, leaving her as the, like the grandmother. If a show goes on long enough so that the son is now the main character and the main character is now the grandpa, the original grandpa doesn't have much left to do. And that said, it was kind of sweet how she was able to have this conversation with Twilight as an equal and sort of establish some of that connection we haven't seen. So, yeah. Like most things in this episode, I mean, I'm not totally won over. I'm not thinking, like, I kind of see it as like, okay, yeah, you are trying to use your poker face here to pretend that you didn't miss the boat on something that you did, but I'm not, like, irrevocably annoyed by that. I'm just sort of like, yeah, okay, well, I mean, fine, if that's what you want to do, I'll take it for what it's worth. So, I don't know, this was a thoroughly, like, so-so episode to me that did some notable things, and, I at least felt it was worth my time.
Is Valis back?
Valis?
I'm still here. Why?
Well, we were asking for you.
Yeah,
Earlier we were asking if you had anything else to add on the episode, and you weren't responding.
Celestial Vice? Oh, I thought it was a good episode. Mainly because finally we get to see more Celestia. And Spike West and ever.
Wait, Spike was worse?
Worst best friend ever. I think he meant worst best friend ever.
Ah.
Wingman. Really?
Oh, does it mean winged dragon, even though he has no wings?
Shit.
You know what I meant.
Anybody else think that opening bit where, like, he has to distract Starlight, like, but once I want to see one of those scenes with somebody saying things in really obvious, drawn-out tones, and who's so obviously trying to get away with something, and the other character looks at them like, you're acting a bit odd. For once, I want to see one of the characters just say, dude, it's so obvious you're trying to hide something. What's going on? I mean, I have not seen anybody do that in real life and fool anybody for a fraction of a second.
One would think common sense would come in, but it honestly is simple and.
Yeah. I mean, it's a trope. You go with it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, though, you were saying?
Nah. Pass, you had something to say?
No, I'm done.
You take it. No, you take it.
So, I guess, is this a good time to move on to the next one?
I guess so. I mean, it seems like, okay, we have Valis saying good, Pass saying bad, Unova and I say, it's alright.
Meh.
I'd more so say that I'm saying it's horrible and Valvis is saying it's great, but...
No, I don't think he's saying great. I think he just said good.
Okay.
Well, I like it also. It makes me happy.
I definitely would say horrible.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, I did appreciate that they didn't try to... Yeah. I did appreciate that they didn't spend 2 episodes on a conflict that was because they couldn't think of anything better, like, hey, let's have a snowstorm. But, I mean...
Seriously,
that was a nice element. I'm glad they didn't do a 2-episode premiere.
But, like both of the last 2 seasons, it seems like the premieres have just been, okay, we need to lay the groundwork to build up to something because we really don't feel like we have anything right off the bat.
We don't have any villains. That's the issue. No villains.
Because you don't need any.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you need to have inspiration for something, which, I don't know. I feel like, and actually, come to think of it.
Wait a minute. Then again, season 4. Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 2, Joanna Lewis, Christine Sanko, I mean, to me, they always seem like they have, like, something up their sleeve, like they have ideas, decent ideas that they're enthusiastic for. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen them, like, hit it absolutely out of the park with an episode. Like,
yeah, they're kind of like...
that.
What episodes did they do?
Let's see, Castle Sweet Castle.
I think was a favor of them. Yeah, Castle Sweet Castle, Hooffields and the Colts. The one
wait. Say those again. You both kind of spoke at the very beginning there. What?
Okay, Castle Sweet Castle, Rarity Investigates, Hooffields and the Colts, Top Bolt, the one with Sky Stinger and Vapor Trail.
Okay, well, I would say that Hooffields and the Colts and Top Calls were, in my opinion, those were solid home runs. Those were great episodes.
Those are my favorite episodes of theirs, but I thought they were, like, good, like B, maybe B+ episodes.
I get that also same feeling with those 2 episodes. Like, more for Top Bolt, because really, Top Bolt was only the second best map episode of season 6. Let's be honest.
What was the first best one?
Viva Las Pegasus!
That one was also a very good one. I think that Top Bolt tops it, but
Oh, really?
That one.
Yeah.
So, okay, I mean, if we're versus season 6, though, they're up against Josh Haber, and I personally like Josh Haber, but I think I might actually be one of the more positive people on him. I think that I have a feeling that nobody's going to be sorry for the changeover there.
No.
Oh, wait, what change? What happened?
Josh Haber was the show editor, and now it's the 2 who Top Bolt, Hooffields and the Colts, Rarity Investigates. Those 2 are the show editors.
Wait. Oh my gosh, that's such good news! Okay, that would explain it, because Josh Haber, I'm sorry, in my opinion, he was an amateur, like, at best, and a terrible writer at worst. I'm glad he's not the head honcho editor now.
Happens here.
I figured you would be somewhat happy, but not like this. All of a sudden we get positive pass.
Well, he was responsible for the blasphemy that was season 6, so you shouldn't be that surprised.
I feel like now we should have a bit more hope for the series now. Just a
You
bit.
should have a bit more hope for me being positive, I guess.
All right. Well, and speaking of which, that might be a good time now to move on to the second episode, All Bottled Up.
You know, before we get on to All Bottled Up, I have to say, you know, that makes a lot more sense why season 7's premiere went as it did. Because they want to, like, retcon, oh yeah, we think what Josh Haber did was pretty much shit. We're gonna, like, try to act like he didn't mess up.
I almost feel bad for the guy. Like, he wrote a couple episodes in season 4, and then suddenly he was in charge of everything. Like,
which was, yeah, it was not a good idea.
Leap of Faith, Simple Ways.
Yeah. I think Simple Ways is underrated. That's
and Castlevania.
I like him, but
Simple Ways I do feel is underrated. I do feel it is.
It's like that awkward episode in which some people can view it bad, other people can find it as a hidden gem among season 4. I'm just kind of meh about it. I'm not infuriated about it. I'm not really happy for it. I'm just meh about it. I mean, Trenderhoof was.
Well, it's about time Rarity had a love interest that, like, for any length of time, that didn't just suck, that wasn't there for cheesy gags about, hey, this is why you need to learn this lesson, because, well, not really because it helps you to learn the lesson, just because love interests suck. Like, I mean, I kind of liked how Rarity taught him as well as learned, and he in turn was willing to get the picture.
If you want to know only one episode I feel Josh Haber was at least good for, it was Bloom and Gloom from season 5. That's kind of like, I feel like, the only episode I feel like I actually appreciate Josh Haber's writing.
I liked it. I also feel like it was the least of the Luna Nightmare episodes.
But then
I found it meh. I found it meh.
Then again, as a Persona fan, I would have to say, at the end of that episode, when it turned out to all be Apple Bloom Shadow, let's just say I got a little bit hyped, as it were, and fantasming beyond my wildest imaginations.
I think that we might be qualified as going off a topic at this point.
Okay.
You think?
So we've officially given Josh Haber a we don't miss you send off.
Yes, thank you, Josh Haber. Never return. You were awful. Get out.
Really?
I'd take the worst Josh Haber ever did, though, over Neil DeSetto.
Who's Neil who?
Princess Spike, the Discord episode we were talking about with the inside jokes and stuff, and Applejack's Day Off were his.
Oh, okay.
Really, bruh?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? You're right. That guy is a terrible writer. Is he gone? If he is, I'm so happy because he made an episode that, in my opinion, is worse than Three's a Crowd and Slice of Life, which you know is really bad. Applejack's Day Off.
Really?
So I don't miss him. Wait a minute.
Well.
Okay. Wait a minute. Then again, for me, I would rather take Applejack's Day Off more than what Ed Valentine is cooking up recently. Like,
what did he cook up?
Cart Before the Ponies.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Fault in our cutie marks recently, but let's not start that again.
We fault in our cute marks. Which one was that?
Gabby the Griffin.
I kind of like that episode.
Yeah.
No, it's Second who has the issue with that episode.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Of all things, that ended up
Should we
being
move
my
on
most
to the
controversial
latest
review.
episode
So,
of All Bottled Up?
Yeah. Before we segue too much, the other, and actually, this was also not just edited but straight up written by Joanna Lewis and Christine Sonko, and it seems like think across the board that's pretty well appreciated, this one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I honestly thought it was a pretty good episode. The Starlight Trixie dynamic was fun to watch. The song was pretty great, in my opinion. In fact, I had a little moment during the song where it kind of was like, yeah, I'm glad I still watch this show.
Aww.
So honestly, like, and this episode is what I really wanted from season 6. A simple, well-structured episode that focuses on Starlight and has her learn something. Really, that is what I want, and I'd rate the episode much, much higher, or maybe significantly higher, if not for the really, really annoying graduation comment at the very end.
I mean,
But honestly, overall, it was a gem.
okay, allow me to play devil's advocate now, because I have some things to critique.
Yay, let's see it.
Alrighty then, the B plot for this episode. Okay, I honestly felt like it was so unneeded. It was eating so much time from the episode. I felt like maybe we could have gone without it. And the song number, while it was good when I first heard it, upon retrospect, it felt like one of the songs from the Equestria Girls movies that, wasn't even fitting into one of the movies, so they put it into the soundtrack. That's what I honestly felt about that song.
I will say that, the B plot wasn't as engaging, and it did swallow up time. Though I did like the little bit at the end where the song actually made them not get the record. I found that to be pretty a nice little nod towards, they're not perfect.
Another one of those.
I liked it.
That part is good. I will not argue that.
I think that
did
was
like
part
that.
of the joke.
You know what?
I think that was part of the joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, we need like a gag reel of this show making fun of its own songs.
Yes.
We'd have Rarity Takes Manhattan, ponies bursting into songs randomly. Who does that? May the best pet win. But we just that's what this whole thing was about. Should we sing about it again?
or what about Lost Treasure of Griffinstone, where there's no song locations?
Yeah. Or Apple, or Some Pony to Watch Over Me. Wait, no time for a song. We have to stop it after the first 2 lines.
Okay, that was the only funny part about that episode, I can say.
So, that episode was ungodly stupid, but it did actually make me laugh a few times.
Yeah. But, aside from that, let's look about the A-plot, and let's talk about how the fact that Trixie and Starlight are just literally the best things ever that Season 6 even came out with. Let's be honest.
Okay, I was actually thinking I was going to have to just hear and go, yes, I know Trixie was a dick, but I just felt like it was a funny episode.
Oh, you thought I was going to say something negative about Trixie? Heck no. Trixie. I'm sorry, but Trixie is literally one of hero characters. And even, I like her. I love her as a villain during, Magic Duel. I love her as an anti-hero of sorts during, a No Second Practice. Literally one of the most redeemable parts about No Second Practice. And as a hero, she stepped up her game, and she basically was like, hey, remember when I started out in Ghostbusters? One of the worst premiere episodes, despite the fact that I was actually okay in that episode? Guess what? I rise above my origins! Take that, Season 1!
And you think most people hate this because of...
Well, actually, I think that people have been a little too eager to let Trixie off the hook. Stop treating her like the bad guy. Twilight, how dare you tell Starlight that she has to be even a little bit careful of Trixie? It was all the amulet. It said very clearly that was the only reason she was bad. Even in the episode with the amulet, I felt like they were trying to gloss over what Trixie was the first time she was there. It was like, I mean, yeah, that they were trying to. What was Twilight's line? Yeah, she's gone from high and mighty to mean and nasty. It felt like they were suddenly trying to say, like, come on, she wasn't that bad before. And I mean,
Yeah, she
it
was.
suits your fancy, but she was kind of bad. She challenges ponies to step up to compete with her, and then her way of beating all of them is essentially taking whatever they do and hitting them over the head with it.
However, second, I would have to point the argument, the fact that the main four that was in that episode was literally picking a fight with a street performer.
Yeah,
She wasn't
granted,
even
that was poorly staged, but I mean, yeah, like, she was openly inviting that.
She was openly inviting when it came to Twilight. Yeah, I won't.
All of them, like, she was kind of relishing the chance to talk down to them. Again, poorly staged, but it was pretty clear that the episode, like, how the episode intended her to be kind of a jerk.
She at the beginning she's a kind of a jerk. I'm not saying she's innocent. She definitely has a jerky personality, which is why I'm not upset with her at all in this episode. It's just that they just now left the honeymoon phase, in which now they actually see themselves with like their own flaws, not hyper intuitive with like, oh, we can actually relate to each other because of our villainous passes, essentially.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
I found that to be very relatable. You know, no friend group has these, you know, peachy clean, no problems whatsoever. Friends fight. It's something that happens, and the show really doesn't like to show that. So I'm glad that they had a bit like that in the episode.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that we get some bulk biceps, Granny Smith, and that Diamond Curator basically raging against Trixie. It's like, oh, some more traumatizing memories from Ponyville.
These cinnamon nuts.
Actually, speaking of the no peachy keen perfect friendship, I feel like the B plot there that the show was kind of trying to juxtapose the two friend groups like a right way, wrong way sort of thing. And I felt like that would have been a lot more effective if the original main six had actually started, like, had some issues with each other, if they'd maybe bumped heads and they had dealt with it the right way, like, not that they didn't have any problems at all.
That's exactly what the B plot was missing.
Definitely was very conflict-free.
Although putting it in an escape room of all things was a good idea.
Yeah. Get more stress by playing in an escape room. I mean, after all, 999 is a somewhat reputable gaming series because of it. Deluxe room scenarios.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's also, like, you can actually do that in real life, like, take what's called an escape room challenge, where they invent, like, a scenario for you and whoever you want to come along with you, you have to, like, solve a series of puzzle events based on just clues. Like, you could even interpret them a ton of different ways that could be right, could be wrong, but, you have to get the door to open.
Yes. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Overall, like, with, like, showcasing, like, the growing hostility that Starlight gains over Trixie upon looking for, like, the missing map, which that's also a funny development. Like, seriously, you basically took away the map. This is, like, the second time that Starlight has been affiliated with that. Are they hinting something? Or is she just that unlucky with the map? Because first, the map locates her at the very first target. Secondly, she's the one who breaks it in the season 5 finale. And now thirdly, because of her magic lessons with Trixie, it causes the map to disappear.
No, you just happy with her.
Bulk Biceps doesn't question it showing up as his massage table.
Yeah.
Anybody else actually think that because the episode 1 was not a two-parter, that episode 2 kind of felt like the prototypical third episode?
Yeah, it did.
And like just about every season except 3 and 6, which might be kind of telling considering how they turned out, but yeah, all of their third episodes are kind of the ones that just they have all the main characters in them, and they kind of lay the groundwork, give you a general sense of what this season's going to try to do with them.
Yeah, because seriously, like Castlemania for season 4 was about like them looking through like the remains of the castle of the two pony sisters. Season 5 had basically Castle Sweet Castle, which had Twilight adjusting to like her role.
Ready to make new memories.
Yeah. Season 6,
didn't have one because season 6 had no structure.
Yeah, very reflective, but it did have one of the best third episodes since both you and I agree with that with Mod Pie.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Like season 3 and season 6, their third episodes, or at least I would argue both times their third episodes were one of their best ones, but they're still probably the 2 worst seasons in no small part thanks to their lack of structure.
I'd say that season 6 probably was the worst third episode.
Whoa!
I remember this debate. No, Past hates Gift of Mod Pie.
Yeah,
really?
I do. I rank it 1.1.
Yeah, and it's actually one of my favorite episodes in what I think was a mostly subpar season, at least for what this show's average is. But
the third episodes of each season are necessarily what you described. I just would say that they're a return to sort of like, they're like an average episode, Now that we got one episode for the premiere, we're actually going to get one more episode, basically, for the, season, because usually the 2-part premieres only feel like one episode, even though technically they're 2. They're one plot. So now we're getting one more extra plot this season, thanks to it having only one episode in it.
Yeah, that's gonna feel really good. Like the way season 7 is handling itself at the moment, it feels like it's really going off at a better start than season 6 at the moment, if we can really compare. Because aside from like the episode 3 for season 6, it feels like it's starting a bit like in the middle, like depending on like what type of person you are. If it's starting from the worst and then it goes good, or it's starting from great and it's still going great, it's at least moving at a good sign for all parties.
Yeah,
I'm just worried though that I'm gonna be waiting for like the highlights, the great episodes, and then they're not gonna happen.
Oh, hey Jordan.
Hey guys.
Cameo.
I'm not too late.
Lego comic. And we were just kind of closing up here, talking about All Bottled Up. Give your thoughts.
Okay, I'm sorry I'm late.
it's cool.
Okay, so my thoughts on All Bottled Up. I thought the episode was alright. I did like that it was a Starlight Glimmer episode, because yeah, we got 6.
Enough of those?
Absolutely. I was trying to be sarcastic, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, as much as I was annoyed with Trixie in that episode, I can forgive her. Sometimes I hate being a nice guy because... sorry. Because, even though Zephyr, Breeze, and a lot of guys, a lot of characters in the show really tick me off, but I don't ever hate them. And the same goes for Trixie. Yeah, she was annoying, she was oblivious, and she did bring up Starlight's dark past unintentionally.
However,
we just had a whole talk about that.
However, we can argue that Spike and other people have literally mentioned about her past, so she's not the only offender on that account.
To be fair, also Starlight kind of has a victimization complex and loves to bring it up herself. That kind of person. So.
Maybe.
I also like the world building around unicorn magic, like how it's based around emotions. Like, I'm a big comic book fan, and one of the superheroes that I love is the Green Lantern. And the Green Lantern Corps and the emotional spectrum, they have their powers based around a certain emotion. Depending on the color of the Lantern Corps, like Green Lantern's emotions are willpower or courage, Blue Lanterns are hope, and Red Lanterns are rage.
Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, and actually, I mean, I just kind of like that because it, no, I think that's kind of the basis of a lot of things, just, yeah, being in the zone, quote unquote. Like, you talk to the people who are really, really good at things, just like virtuosos of, like anything, chess, Tetris, just, various sports. It's almost like they don't tell you that, okay, in that moment I'm thinking, you move exactly to the it's almost like you just kind of go to a higher level of concentration that you don't think, you feel.
Okay. Well, anyways, I will say that this episode is not perfect by any means, because the subplot with the main six, I did like it, but I'm sorry, I'm just someone who can't really stand musical numbers, so I just had to skip the song. I'm so sorry.
Music hater!
Oh, there's something I
Hey,
never done.
I love John Williams' score in episode 1, as well as Superman's theme. I can like music, it's just when they're singing that's it kind of bothers me sometimes.
You're an instrumental guy. That's basically what you're telling us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Never thought I would learn this from you.
Fine.
But how about, did anybody else think the end might, like, when Trixie starts talking to Starlight about all the things she loves about her, that might have been laying it on a little thick?
Oh, yeah, but at the same time, she ain't someone who's ahead about friendship.
Yeah. I guess it's just like, I mean, it's not something that, like, we've never seen from the show before or anything. It's just kind of like, it's kind of funny to think about how they try to balance this stuff, because I mean, we have a history of that, but also of the show kind of trying to talk about it in a relatable sort of way. So yeah, it's a balance of relatable and optimistic, and it was kind of jarring this time to see what was kind of a relatable scenario, all things considered, a friend being kind of oblivious, maybe rubbing you the wrong way, and then segueing suddenly into a big everything I love about you speech.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's kind of why I was able to forgive Trixie. I mean, yeah, the dialogue was kind of a little bit clunky, but it seemed like it was coming from the heart. Trixie does genuinely care about Starlight, even though she has been oblivious to her. She has been ruining stuff, but she does care, and she eventually did apologize, as she does say later, after those horrible things that Starlight said indirectly and then directly towards the end, that she did need to hear it. She admitted that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, a little optimism can go a long way. Anyway, though, anything else?
We're all bottled up. No, not on my end.
I just got home. Is this the end of the podcast, or?
No, if nobody has any last-minute things to add.
In short, it was a good episode that, while I understand why some fans will hate it, I just can't find myself just laughing at the whole thing at it.
All Bottled Up did have some good laughs, I'll give it that.
It did.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess in summary, in summary, I hate Celestial Advice, and kind of like pretty considerably this All Bottled Up. What about you guys? Just kind of summarize what you think.
Nuts. No pun intended. No pun intended, because I was busy with schoolwork, so I just got home and had to get comfortable for a little bit, and I figured you guys would be all done. But anyways, I did like Celestial Advice a bit more than almost, or just as much as All Bottled Up.
Interesting.
Both are for very different reasons, though.
I gotcha. So that would make the count for Celestial Advice 2 goods and 2 S with 1 hate.
Yep.
Yeah. And while All Bottled Up has good votes across the board, it looks like.
Yeah. I feel more optimistic about season 7 now. I don't feel drained anymore.
Yeah.
And Valis.
In short, episode 1, I just found myself feeling so happy with it. In short, Celestia was so much fun to see. In episode 2, while Glimmer was somewhat of a jerk and Trixie, we could talk about days about her. I just found myself loving it. So, when it comes to the 2-parters, I love them.
All right. Well, there you have it.
There you go.
So, we're all cautiously optimistic, or in a couple cases not so cautiously, about season 7.
Cast.
Yep.
Well, he's semi-optimistic.
Yeah, after what we just found out about the Joanna Lewis and Christine Sanko now being the head writers instead of Josh Aber.
Yeah, no, that is definitely some bit for optimism.
Yeah, and I think it's also given me some optimism for watching My Little Pony still, actually, as well. I mean, despite how optimistic I present myself a lot of these podcasts and such, for season 6, it was really draining on me until the finale. So I'm thankful that sorry.
Go ahead. I didn't have much to say.
I feel thankful that the show is going in this better direction, even if it's not starting out with like all fires. Like, at least it's starting out at least in a good place, in which we could trust these writers to at least give us an acceptable product.
I see.
And with that, I think we've summed up our thoughts pretty well. And I'm gonna miss the episodes where there's a lot more to throw things back and forth on, because this was far too chummy for my taste.
I think.
I mean, then again, we did have a bit of back and forth with me and Pat, at least for the 2 episodes.
I know. I mean, granted, like, raving, "Oh, this was awesome, this was so funny," like, that's all well and good, just sort of chummy meh.
Thanks for letting me be in here for the last few minutes, guys, because I'm really sorry, but school comes first.
Well, that's a very important lesson.
Nonsense. If you can't put this first, you can.
Ooh!
Okay, that really hurts. I know you're kidding, but I'm just playing along.
All right. Well, this is Guys Night from the Cafe Cast signing out.
Bye!
So long, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Guys.